Why does Hollywood always get Bible movies so wrong? How could you cast Batman as Moses and still have the movie be more boring than church? Plus, they should have saved Christian Bale to play Jacob. Rachel! There are two problems when it comes to faith-based movies. Number one, most Christian films look cheap because they don't have the budget. Money may be the root of all evil, but it's also the root of a good movie. The second problem is when Hollywood attempts to make their own faith movie, which is when you get Noah talking to rock monsters. Was a global flood not epic enough for you, Hollywood? Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. And watching them is like walking on Legos with your eyes. It's hard to feel God in a faith-based film when they have the production value of a church play.
I don't feel safe!
Hey, you don't cry until the last scene!
Pray for them. Hollywood has all of the production value, but none of the Christian value. How can we as believers enjoy a faith-based film that's as enjoyable as a blockbuster, but retains the power and truth of the Bible? We need a Hollywood-quality movie created by actual believers, and that movie is The Shift. It's about a man who meets the devil himself and gets banished to a dark, parallel earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves. The script explores some of today's hardest questions about maintaining faith, like how can a loving God allow suffering? Or how can I overcome feelings of despair and hopelessness? Finally, you can see a faith-based film that feels like your favorite movies. The Shift is a sci-fi film that will make you think deeply like Inception and weep like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. Man, even his ugly cry looks good. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not that talented. Using popular genres to share faith-based stories is a great way to entertain and inspire a love for God. Look at C.S. Lewis, who used fantasy to share Christian themes and inspire millions. And make millions. Even Jesus used creative storytelling to make his sermons more interesting. Parables. I'm talking about parables. We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. But rather than pass around a donation plate, we want you to own part of the movie. Express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today to be among the first to know if the offering launches. The plan is for The Shift to be distributed by Angel Studios, which helped The Chosen become the largest crowdfunded media project of all time. Angel Studios' distribution of The Chosen then went on to generate over $70 million in revenue and over 250 million views. Here's what the creator of The Chosen has to say about The Shift.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. Angel
Studios also helped the Wing Feather Saga, an animated fantasy series created by a Christian author, become the largest crowdfunded kids and family animated project in history. When you invest in The Shift, you're not just investing in a groundbreaking Christian film. You have the potential to share in the profits. Now, we don't have one of these prophets to promise that you'll make this profit. But I am going to repeat that The Chosen earned $70 million in revenue. That's the highest earning faith-based project of the last 2 years. The Shift not only has the incredible potential in the marketplace, it's just an incredible movie. Listen to these reviews from folks who watched the short film. Jane F. wrote, "This looks amazing. I've never seen a faith-based film like this." Ronnie said, "There's actually no way to convey how this spoke to me just now. I look forward to seeing what God does with this film." And Jason commented recently with, "Wow, just wow." And what will really wow you is discovering that the short film was created with almost zero budget and it has already touched hundreds of thousands of lives. Imagine the impact The Shift can have on hearts and minds with the proper funds. Most indie Christian films operate with a budget of about $500,000, and honestly, it shows. She's fine. Maybe the little shepherd boy could say a quick prayer? Yep, we good? With 10 times the production value, we can truly do justice to the epic themes in the Bible. So express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today. Look, there's nothing wrong with a film that's a labor of love, but those usually just become cult classics, which is not the best label for a Christian movie to receive. Enjoy Sunday morning values with Saturday night entertainment. Click on the link to express your interest in backing The Shift today to be among the first to know if the offering launches.
All right, welcome everybody to tonight's Shift live stream. This is a very, very special live stream. My name is Brock Keesley. I'm the writer and director of The Shift.
And I'm Orlando J. Gomez, producer of The Shift.
And we just hit an incredible milestone not too long ago. We hit $3 million in pledges, which is a number I cannot count to. It's just too high.
It'd take too long.
It's just too high and it would take too long. But yeah, we are right now sitting at $3 million actually and $23,000. That's an amazing number. Have a promise to you for tonight. If we can get $30,000 total dollars in pledges, in other words, if we can get to $3 million, I can do math, $53,000 tonight.
Okay.
We are going to reveal a production story, a really cool production story. We're gonna talk about just some of the great people that worked on the short film, but more than that, we will also reveal a very embarrassing story. We've threatened this before. I think tonight.
So we're bringing it. It's back on the table.
It's back on the table.
Back on the table.
A story that I genuinely do not want out into the world. That I have told no one.
Literally, has told nobody.
We've told no one this story. Not even in my real day-to-day life. I refuse to let this story be told. We will tell this story if we can get $30,000 in pledges. If you want to pledge, if you want to express your interest in making the shift happen and being an investor, we're not taking money yet. But we're asking, this is the last night that we're asking people to let us know if they're interested in investing. If you want to do that, you can go to angel.com/theshift. And that's where you can, it only takes a couple of minutes. And then we'll know. We're going to be making our decision here really, really soon.
Yep.
So we're using this as our last hurrah for expressing interest. Let us know if you have any questions. If you have any questions, be sure and submit them in the chat, and our moderator will make sure we see them, and we're happy to answer them live on air. But I want to get right, before I tell you everything that's going on tonight, I want to get right to our first guest. Our first guest tonight is Jordan Harmon. He is with Angel Studios. He is somebody we've been working with very closely, and we want to welcome Jordan in right now and say hi to him. And I think we're in for a great discussion tonight. Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Brock and Orlando. I'm really excited.
Can you believe where we're at right now?
I just want to hear the story. Whatever that story is, that's the reason I'm here, is to hear that story.
Oh yeah, you'll hear it if we get there.
The only way you're going to hear that story is if we actually get to the 30K while you're with us. So.
And you'll love it.
Please. Well, I'll be chiming in. I'll be watching even when I log off here. But no, I'm excited to be with you guys.
No, we're excited. So tell us a little bit about what your role is at Angel Studios, just so people know who you are and what you do, what your involvement here is.
Yeah. So I'm one of the co-founders of Angel Studios, and then the vice president of Originals and Growth. And so I've been working very closely with Brock and Orlando on, making the shift come to life in some way. And I am so excited about this project. It's one of those things where, there are certain people that you connect with in life that you just go, this is someone I want to be connected with forever. And both of these guys are those people. So it's been an absolute pleasure to not only get to know you, but to work with you in this capacity.
No, the feeling is likewise. We've had a long journey with Angel Studios, coming out of obscurity, this little short film that we just submitted and you guys looked at and just got really excited about. And here we are today with $3 million in pledges. Yeah. And I'm glad that we're doing this journey with you. So the feeling is extremely mutual.
Awesome.
But I mean, you think we're cool, we think you're cool, but what is it about the shift specifically that excites you, that you think is worthy of an Angel Studios project? Because that's not a small thing. Angel Studios is the same. You guys are the guys that brought the world to Chosen.
Right.
So why the shift?
Yeah. So why the shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to name any film names, but I am pretty tired of brain dead films. Like, there are so many times you'll go into a movie theater and you're going in with the expectation of this is just going to be, I can see exactly what's going to happen from start to finish, but you're going with that expectation so you can enjoy it and it's fine. But there's too many of those. Some of them are in many genres. Some of them made billions of dollars. And the reality is I thrive. The older I get, I feel like the more I thrive off of movies that make me think and make me introspectively go in and say, what is this trying to not only teach me, but I don't know what's going to happen. Even when I was reading the script, I was just like, what's going to happen here? How is this going to all pan out? It's such a great script. I mean, there's a reason that Dallas Jenkins, signed on as executive producer, because the script speaks for itself. And so between reading the script and experiencing that and realizing this is one of those projects that I personally would be going to the movie theaters to watch with great excitement, because I know that at the end, I know I'm not going to see the trailer and go, oh well, I know what happens, right? Like, it's just so not only is it entertaining, not only does it teach incredible values, but it challenges you both intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. It's got all the elements and ingredients of an incredible story, an incredible story arc, and an incredible payoff. So I'm very excited.
No, I mean, and that excites us to hear you speak of it in those terms, because I know that for a long time, I'd written that script, Orlando read it, and then a writer friend of mine, and that was it for like a year. Like we sat on this script
for a good long time.
Yeah, not really knowing. Like
you're 1,000 closer to your story. You're 1,000 closer to your story.
Nice. Well, another person just pledged 150. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. And somebody else pledged 500. Oh, they really want to hear that story.
Yep.
I'm so torn. A part of me wants to say, everybody, please stop.
They just keep rolling in.
Can we do all of our pledging after we sign up? But no.
And
two more just pledged 150. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. All right. Well, no, I mean, your enthusiasm for the script, I think, is incredibly validating for us as a team, because we felt like, we've really got something special here, not just with the short film, but also just with the feature film. And I say that recognizing that, yes, I wrote it, but I didn't. It's funny because it's not something that I wrote in the sense of, oh, I'm so brilliant. Like, I've written a lot of different things in my life, and there's very few things that I've written where I have felt like genuinely inspired, where it's like I don't really feel like I'm the font of knowledge and creativity for this thing. It's more like I'm inspired to do it. I'm receiving inspiration, and I'm putting down on the page what I feel like is actually supposed to be, not just what I want. If that makes sense, if I can say that without sounding.
That totally makes sense. What's interesting about that is the crowd's validating your ideas, right? Like, this is obviously months and even years of momentum building up, but the reality is there's been $3 million dollars in pledges, people saying we want to see this come to life, which is really says a lot about the work you're doing, what people think about it, and so when you think about that, you go, okay, I can. You always hope that what you create has some value to society and to life in general.
Absolutely.
But it's nice to be validated and understand that, okay, we're on to something here. And so, the fact that you are going to the crowd and saying, hey, tell me if you like this. Is this good? And to be honest, if I'm speaking openly, the short doesn't even do the script justice. That was on such a shoestring budget. The fact that you were able to pull that off is remarkable. So, I think a lot of people I've told about the project, they'll like watch the short and they go, oh, wow, that was good. It was good. It was interesting. And I go, yeah, that was made for almost nothing. And they're like, oh, wow, that was this guy's got chops. And so, once you put it into that context, people start going, okay, I'm understanding here. If he had a real budget, what could be possible? Right. And so, like I said, the short, I always tell people, the short doesn't do it justice. It's an incredible script. And so I'm very, very excited. And the crowd is telling you yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And the other cool thing about it too, and how it's validating and encouraging, is that, like with any project, the longer you're on it, the closer you get to it, the more you kind of get numb to it as well. And so, like as we've been working on this for a few years now, you start to lose objectivity, right? Like
usually you do.
Yeah. Right? Well, yeah. And so, like there's moments where you're just kind of like, I internally know that this is good, but I don't necessarily have that same feeling. Like, am I just being biased? That kind of starts to set in. And so when we put it out into the public, and then people start responding, like, no, this is great, we love it. It's like, okay, so we're not delusional. We're not making this up. Okay. And you get reinvigorated, and you get re-inspired, and you get the strength and energy to keep going.
No, totally. Yeah. I think there's definitely a sense of us feeding off the energy of the crowd.
Absolutely.
Right now, for sure. I'm feeling it.
There's the curse of wisdom. There's always the curse of wisdom. Like you have all the knowledge there, and so you sometimes just have assumptions of how good it is. But there's a book called The Wisdom of Crowds, which talks about an analogy at the beginning of the book where basically this guy went out to study the decisions of crowd or of individuals and people, and he came to the consensus that the crowds could never make a good educated decision, that it needed to be high level intelligence that should rule society in the world. And then they did an activity at the very end where they had all these individuals come, hundreds and hundreds of people, and they said, we're going to slaughter this animal. I think it was like a bull or something, whatever, a cow or something. And we want people to guess what the weight will be after it's chopped down for meat. Like, what will that weight be? And so he, just out of curiosity at the end, after they gave all the awards out, took the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, I think it was almost 1,000 responses, and he grabbed and built a bell curve and took the median or the mean. I don't remember what it was. I believe it was the whatever the average is. I think it was the median that they were talking about. But the point is the crowd had said that there would be 1,872 pounds of meat, and it was 1,873. And the beauty of that is that the crowd has so much power to make really good decisions. If you took this project to so many people in Hollywood or in different parts of the world, they'd go, I don't, because you have a few people in a room with their biases and their information, and the crowd is saying, no, this is
oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me, and we have experience. We've brought this to we've had both experiences in Hollywood so far. But we've brought it to some, and they're like, "This is incredible," and others are just like, "Whoa, this is like way too different." Both are right.
Sure. We want different. We want different.
Right.
Different.
No, not that different.
Neither of you are wrong.
Yeah.
So, if, by the way, if anybody has any comments or any questions for us or for Jordan, especially if Jordan, while we're talking to him right now, he is going to be leaving us soon, please hit us up and we'll be sure to answer those. Now, Jordan, this idea of the wisdom of the crowds, I know is kind of a core Angel Studios idea, a core Angel Studios value, but I know that it's also paired with this other value, which is that you guys are really about stories that amplify light. And I was wondering if you could just speak for a minute as to how the shift fits into that goal, that mission.
Or maybe first let's start with what define that.
What does that
mean?
Yeah, sure.
And then how does the shift fit in there?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So that's kind of our mission, is to tell stories that amplify light. And the way we define that is if a story is teaching good values and good principles. We actually based it off Philippians 4:8, where if anything is noteworthy, lovely, good report, that encompasses a story that amplifies light. Now, a lot of people would go, "Oh, well, is that just Christian content?" No, that's not the case at all. Matter of fact, there are tons of incredible films throughout history that had nothing to do with Christ or religion, but they amplified light in an incredible way. And so, we actually have a very, very strict process of making sure that a film falls into that bucket of amplifying light. And the reason we feel so strongly about the shift and that it does that is when you look at or if anybody's had the chance to read the script while it's still available, the underlying messages that you get from the shift are teaching really principles of courage, diligence, overcoming in adversity. Those underlying principles are eternal. They're so essential to life and what we go through on a day-to-day basis. And so we feel very strongly that one of the stories that we tell inside of Angel Studios quite frequently is we had a family member who was going through a very difficult time, and he had started a business that failed completely, and he felt like he was in this very dark spot. And he and his wife watched the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. And in that scene, there's Will Smith with his son in the bathroom, and they're trying to find a place to sleep while he's going through this internship. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. But point is he just felt like it connected with him so deeply of where he was in his life and this feeling of just utter despair. And then as that character rose out from the ashes and was able to really pursue happiness and acquire happiness, it reignited the light in him and his wife where they felt like they could push through this. And so we feel that the shift will have a similar effect on people, and that people that are going through things that are deeper than sometimes we even recognize will be connected to that feeling, and they'll be able to push through. And anyway, I don't want to get emotional, so I won't continue down that journey. But the point is that's why I get super excited about this shift. Is I do feel like it will fill that need for so many people.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Well, and I can tell you truthfully, like I've seen people have that reaction when we've done screenings of the short film, or we've talked about the script. People that have come back and read it, and it's people who are really struggling with something that seem to respond the most to what this film is about. Which makes sense because it was written at a time when I was really struggling. It's born from a very real place in that.
Well, I think it's also it's meeting people where they are, right? And that's part of the problem that we're trying to address with the typical faith-based film is that unless you are experiencing that that overwhelming joy and everything is going well in life because I gave my life to Christ, it's hard to connect because like I'm not experiencing. I'm not feeling that. So what does that say about me? What's wrong with me?
Right.
What, is my faith real? Or, and so it can actually kind of have a negative effect if you don't fit that mold. So this kind of just offers up, another, not just a paradigm, but just another side of the coin on the faith experience.
Right. No, I mean, that's a big part of it is let's show what we actually all kind of experience. Because look, even if we're believers, even if we've given our hearts to Christ and we've made that change within ourselves, that doesn't mean that the struggle ends. And I'm tired of this idea that some have that somehow once you do that, like everything's fine, you're fine, you don't really have anything to struggle with anymore because you have Christ in your life. Well, that's not really how it works.
Or even that if you just have the courage to step up and confront the oppressor, so to speak, that it's all going to work out.
Right.
Many times it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, you get the short end of the stick and you lose whatever it is you're fighting for.
Right.
And so it feels insincere and disingenuous. But
so there's a hope there. I think that is the undercurrent of the ship that I hope that people can see. Now, Jordan,
are we getting any comments or questions on here?
I know that we've had some pledges come in. Somebody pledged 150. Somebody else pledged 100, I think. I haven't seen any comments come through. Somebody else just pledged 150 just now. 150. And 500.
Nice. Awesome.
Wow. All kinds of stuff. If you do have a comment for Jordan, please, or a question, please hit us. One of the questions. Definitely. So is that our current total right now? We're at 3,024,000. So we got a little ways to go. 25.
25.
Just moved again. There you go.
Let's just refresh. Do that again.
Right. I mean, I don't do that all day or anything. So when you think about the shift and you think about it, okay, it's done. It's ready to go out into the world. I mean, I know we've talked about a lot of different things, and there's some things that we've talked about that we can't really talk about yet. But if you could just talk in general terms, what is kind of the Angel Studios vision for where the shift can go and what it can do?
Yeah, I mean, this needs to be viewed in theaters in a really powerful way. Like, I love going to the theater, and we obviously have Angel Studios. We have other models outside of the theater system that will allow us to make this hopefully as successful as possible. I mean, we can't ever guarantee anything. But, one of the things that just happened recently that Brock and I were talking about, we won't go into a lot of detail, but The Chosen launched their Christmas special, and they have a special episode that they're releasing as well, and they're doing it through Fathom on December 1st and 2nd. But, we've built up enough of a base of tens of millions of people that when that was launched, The Chosen, we were able to sell out, I think 1,300 theaters in a matter of hours, and they were just ecstatic. And so we're looking at this and saying we have this incredible opportunity to almost because I love the theater experience. I hate seeing the theater suffering so much. Like I want them to just continue to be successful. And so that's obviously the most straightforward, the shift will go to theaters, and we're building up a massive amount of audiences and networks within Angel Studios so that we can leverage those in powerful ways to help the shift hopefully be as successful as possible. But yeah, we look at this and we feel like the future is very bright. Obviously never guaranteed, but we're, if you're excited about it as I am, go to angel.com/the shift and pledge to them because it's a fun opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Diana just pledged $150.
Nice. Thank you, Diana. Welcome to the team. Potentially.
So that's incredible, by the way. The fact that you can sell out that many theaters within hours. But I think that speaks to a larger issue, which is there are people out there's a lot of people out there who are thirsting for this content. It's for the stuff that Hollywood doesn't give us, right? And I love this whole component of Angel Studios and being disruptive and creating these new models and these new methods and really showing, if it's not going to be given to us, we're going to create it and we're going to show the demand, right? I think that's incredible, and we're definitely happy to be able to be part of that and be able to take advantage of that.
Exciting. We're super excited to work together on it.
And I think it's important to remember too is that one of the reasons that you guys were able, that The Chosen was able to sell out that many theaters in an hour, I think you said, is because it's The Chosen, right? It's become The Chosen, but The Chosen started out right where we're at right now. Right. Where we're at right now. I mean, The Chosen, when it first went out for investment and all of that, it had, nobody knew what it was. Right. There was even a barrier of, oh my gosh, another Jesus show or a movie. Like, who comes to see that?
That was my response. I mean, you were telling about it for months.
It took me a long time to get you to watch it. Yeah,
I was like,
not watch it.
Brock, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about this stuff.
I've seen enough Jesus shows.
Enough.
So The Chosen had those barriers. We have a similar barrier. It's not the same thing, but one of our barriers, for example, is this isn't a totally original story. Mm-hmm. It's not based on anything. And so here we are, we're in this position where we're starting out in the same way The Chosen is. I think as we can see by what's happening today with us hitting $3 million in pledges, we are growing. Mm-hmm. And so if this is something that you want to take advantage of, that if you looked at The Chosen and you're thinking, man, I wish I'd gotten in there when I had the chance. That's kind of what's going on right now.
I wish I would have watched the first episode when Brock first told me.
Yeah, because I invested in it.
I didn't.
So anyways, if you're looking at this.
Every project's so different. And, everybody always hopes that they can become The Chosen. And obviously there's no way to know. But the reality is every project starts where you're at, right? And so, you're totally right that, if the hope is always that, hey, the shift can, if you guys open up a crowdfunding campaign and get it funded and do your production, that it will be a massive success and an iconic movie for years and years and years to come. And so I totally agree. Like if you love The Chosen and you're excited about, new content that really moves people in an incredible way and that amplifies light, that's the reason I pledged as well. I mean, I love the shift. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. We got a couple of comments that have just come in. And we have two more pledgers also who just joined the team. Let's check out those comments. What do we have here? Someone pledged $150. And another came in with $5,000. We just got a $5,000 pledge. Oh my goodness!
I think that story is going to be coming up soon.
I'm not going to tell you to stop. But anyway. Okay. Jose says you guys are going to explode. Can't wait to see what the Lord does with the shift.
Oh, that's awesome!
And there's like some high fives there and
fire and
muscle arm.
Yep.
Fire emojis, Jose, that's what I
love. Jeff says love to the script updates, Mr. Brock. So what Jeff's referring to there is we actually released the script 6 months ago and we let everybody read it, and then we released it again. We're going to talk more about this a little bit later tonight. We released it again a few days ago, and it was actually a different draft. It was a new draft. So it looks like Jeff's read the new draft, and he appreciates the small changes and tweaks that I made. And look, we got a question for Jordan coming in here. Let's see. Linda says, did Jordan say when Angel Studios started? Sorry if I missed it. My husband has the Bruins on with the volume way up high.
Totally understandable. That's fair.
Well, at least they're both going. Us and the Bruins. That's a good night.
That's right. That's right. Priorities. So, so Angel Studios, we've actually been around for quite a while, but we originally we started in 2014 called VidAngel. And then we went through, years and years of building up a customer base. And then we jumped into the original content game with VidAngel Studios, with Dry Bar Comedy, and then The Chosen. And now we have a bunch of other projects in the pipeline. And then we started focusing solely on original content, whereas originally we had the VidAngel business, which also did filtering. And so that part of the business we sold off and Angel Studio. So since 2013, we've been working for this day. Like, it's really kind of surreal for me because we'd always wanted to get into original content. That was kind of the goal from the get-go. And so when now that this is happening, and it feels so exciting for us to see, years and years of fruits coming into coming about. And so, but we really kind of came into the original content space heavily with The Chosen back in 2018. So it's been a fun journey. It's been super excited. But yeah, thanks for the question. That was awesome.
Real quick on that, it's funny about dry bar comedy. So I do family dinner with my parents and my siblings. All our families get together with my parents every Sunday night. And it was like last weekend. My dad's like, "Oh, we just saw this hilarious comic on TV the other day." He's like, "Have you heard of dry bar comedy?" Because they're out in Provo. Like, you were just there not so long ago. I was like, "Yeah, I'm familiar with dry bar comedy." And he's like, "Pretty sure I told you about them." I'm pretty sure I told you about them. It's like, "Oh, it was great. Loved it."
Jordan, I know you're tight on time, but we got one more comment if you've got a second.
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's see. Jessica says, you guys have to consider that you're not just another Jesus movie. Your originality is getting more attention than you think. Oh, Jessica. Sounds like Jessica knows something.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. This is more than just a Jesus movie or a religious movie. As a matter of fact, I look at this as like, it feels almost like sci-fi first from the standpoint of like engaging people and pulling people in, and less preachy. Like, we're just going to preach to your face all the time about like it. You guys are trying to nail that happy spot where you can say, "Hey, watch us teach these principles," but we're really going to focus on the entertainment side of it as well.
Right. And I think, as far as like when we talked about it a lot, especially with, a lot of our social media posts, we do kind of focus on the religious side. But I think anybody who reads the script actually, and even the experience of watching the short film, it feels much more sci-fi actually than religious. And there's a reason for that. Like that's on purpose. It's because I think, coming at these ideas and these themes a little bit more sideways is what invites more people in. And also just me personally as a storyteller, that's what I connect with more. If people are going to have a spiritual experience with something, I think it's better if they kind of build that themselves rather than a storyteller forcing that down their throats. And so my instinct is always to say, take those themes, take those things that are really important to me, and not bury them in the story. That's kind of maybe the wrong word, because that suggests something negative. But I see it as a positive thing. And maybe the better word is to embed. But embed these things.
I was going to say embed or infuse, like infuse it into the story, where it feels like it's just a natural part of it.
Exactly.
Right. The way I've been describing it to people when I'm talking in person is that it's a sci-fi film. It's a sci-fi film with a through line and an undertow of faith. Like, it's the thing that kind of ties it together, but it's not just your face.
Right. It's not. We got one more comment here coming in. Nicolette says, there are at least a few of us supporters that are not religious. I'm here for the common shared narrative.
See?
I love that.
Yeah, I love Nicolette, it. Love it. And actually, I've gotten, in fact, I saved them on my phone. I'm going to do this real quick. We've gotten a few comments today from people that are not religious. Here's a guy who says, I'm an atheist who has zero problems with this. Hollywood is only interested in perpetuating its own ideas. The same people who claim they want every American to have a voice shun a religious voice. I'm an atheist who believes in family values, and perhaps one day a film might move me enough to discover a little faith.
Wow.
I wish you all good luck and Godspeed. An atheist told us Godspeed.
I love the last line of Godspeed. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
We may be onto something.
I love that.
Yeah, you might want to pull him in for writing. That's great.
Awesome. I was really tickled by that when that came in. One of the things that we're doing with this, of course, is that we've debuted recently a brand new pitch video. We want to check that out again. Jordan, do you have time to watch that with us real quick and come back and talk about it for just a second? Cool. Let's throw that up and then we'll come back and talk about it before we say bye to Jordan.
Why does Hollywood always get Bible movies so wrong? How could you cast Batman as Moses and still have the movie be more boring than church? Plus, they should have saved Christian Bale to play Jacob. Rachel! There are two problems when it comes to faith-based movies. Number one, most Christian films look cheap because they don't have the budget. Money may be the root of all evil, but it's also the root of a good movie. The second problem is when Hollywood attempts to make their own faith movie, which is when you get Noah talking to rock monsters. Was a global flood not epic enough for you, Hollywood? Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. And watching them is like walking on Legos with your eyes. It's hard to feel God in a faith-based film when they have the production value of a church play.
I don't feel safe!
Hey, you don't cry until the last scene.
Pray for them. Hollywood has all of the production value, but none of the Christian value. How can we as believers enjoy a faith-based film that's as enjoyable as a blockbuster, but retains the power and truth of the Bible? We need a Hollywood-quality movie created by actual believers, and that movie is The Shift. It's about a man who meets the devil himself and gets banished to a dark, parallel earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves. The script explores some of today's hardest questions about maintaining faith, like how can a loving God allow suffering? Or how can I overcome feelings of despair and hopelessness? Finally, you can see a faith-based film that feels like your favorite movies. The Shift is a sci-fi film that will make you think deeply like Inception and weep like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. Man, even his ugly cry looks good. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not that talented. Using popular genres to share faith-based stories is a great way to entertain and inspire a love for God. Look at C.S. Lewis, who used fantasy to share Christian themes and inspire millions. And make millions. Even Jesus used creative storytelling to make his sermons more interesting. Parables. I'm talking about parables. We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. But rather than pass around a donation plate, we want you to own part of the movie. Express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today to be among the first to know if the offering launches. The plan is for The Shift to be distributed by Angel Studios, which helped The Chosen become the largest crowdfunded media project of all time. Angel Studios' distribution of The Chosen then went on to generate over $70 million in revenue and over 250 million views. Here's what the creator of The Chosen has to say about The Shift.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level.
Angel Studios also helped the Wingfeather Saga, an animated fantasy series created by a Christian author, become the largest crowdfunded kids and family animated project in history. When you invest in The Shift, you're not just investing in a groundbreaking Christian film. You have the potential to share in the profits. Now, we don't have one of these prophets to promise that you'll make this profit. But I am going to repeat that The Chosen earned $70 million in revenue. That's the highest earning faith-based project of the last 2 years. The Shift not only has the incredible potential in the marketplace, it's just an incredible movie. Listen to these reviews from folks who watched the short film. Jane F. wrote, "This looks amazing. I've never seen a faith-based film like this." Ronnie said, "There's actually no way to convey how this spoke to me just now. I look forward to seeing what God does with this film." And Jason commented recently with, "Wow, just wow." And what will really wow you is discovering that the short film was created with almost zero budget and it has already touched hundreds of thousands of lives. Imagine the impact The Shift can have on hearts and minds with the proper funds. Most indie Christian films operate with a budget of about $500,000, and honestly, it shows. She's fine. Maybe the little shepherd boy could say a quick prayer? Yeah, we good? With 10 times the production value, we can truly do justice to the epic themes in the Bible. So express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today. Look, there's nothing wrong with a film that's a labor of love, but those usually just become cult classics, which is not the best label for a Christian movie to receive. Enjoy Sunday morning values with Saturday night entertainment. Click on the link to express your interest in backing The Shift today to be among the first to know if the offering launches.
Okay, so Jordan,
That's good.
great
Such a good
pitch
video.
or the greatest pitch video you've ever seen?
On a scale of 1 to the greatest, I put it at a 9.5. Yeah, no, it's a great pitch video.
Yes. Okay.
You guys did a really good job with that. It hits all the points really well. So I love that pitch video. I've watched it so many times that it never gets old.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, it was exciting to make because we got to work Harmon Brothers.
We definitely did not do that all of ourselves. We worked with the writers at Harmon Brothers, which are extremely talented, and then I directed and Orlando produced that pitch video. But what is it that makes I don't want to get too off track here, but what makes a Harmon Brothers ad so effective? Because I know you're familiar with the company a little bit.
I mean, I think the biggest things that make a Harmon Brothers ad effective is you have to get enough elements of comedic timing and pacing to where the customers or the viewer is engaged while still staying on topic. Because a lot of people will do the shock and awe factor, but it has nothing to do with the product or what you're trying to deliver, which doesn't do what you need it to do. And so that's one of the big things that Harmon Brothers focuses on is making sure that when I say Harmon Brothers, it's weird talking in third person because it's the business Harmon Brothers, the agency, not me and other Harmon Brothers. There are many Harmon Brothers, but anyway, the point is that that's the key element is getting that entertainment in there while not losing the core messages, because so many marketers will get in there and they'll go, okay, we're just gonna do kind of a funny type ad, and then you get down, you're like, what do you sell? What are you doing? What are you trying to convince me that I need? It doesn't make any sense. So
we combat that all the time.
I've had that experience with ads, especially ads made by people who are kind of trying to ape the Harmon Brothers feel, and sometimes they just get off message.
It's the highest form of flattery. What is that saying? Copying is the highest form of flattery. So
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Imitation, copying, imitation, whatever.
I think they do so well. I think what they do so well is that even within the jokes there's messaging, and I think that's the special sauce. It's never distracting from what the message is. In fact, there's a couple of jokes that are in our pitch video that aren't really messaging, but that are ad libs that the actor did that I left in because I thought they still worked really well, and they kind of little pace, just more of like a pacing thing for me. But everything that the Harmon Brothers wrote was totally just focused on message. But anyway, I love that video. I think it came out so well.
Something I want to point out too, and I don't even know if you remember this, but what made this particularly special for us is that we do marketing and production as our day job, and we've wanted to imitate in a lot of the stuff that we write and produce. In fact, there was a client that we actually put Harmon Brothers in our pitch deck when we were we're trying to explain the vision for the commercial, just go look at these guys, this is what we want to do with you, and here's how we're going to do it. We didn't get that gig, which was a bummer, but it was really cool.
Harmon Brothers probably got the gig.
Harmon Brothers got the gig. It's if we're going to do a Harmon Brothers, we might as well just hire Harmon Brothers. But it was cool. So we always wanted to do that and to create content like that, and we actually got to work with them and actually create it. And it's just really exciting.
It was a lot of fun to do. Well, Jordan, any parting words for us before you take off tonight? I know you've got another appointment.
No, I just love what you guys are doing. So excited that there's so much interest and so many people pledging. It really helps, Brock and Orlando know, if they want to open this up or not. And so it's really exciting to see that momentum build into something bigger than anything that you could have ever imagined. And so I saw you post on Facebook a while back a screenshot where it was at 2 point something million. You're just I just can't even believe this. And then I just saw a stream of comments coming in being you're making something great. And so don't be surprised because you're a good creator and you work, you work from your heart. And so, I'm sure there'll be a ton of learnings on the way, but the reality is we're all in this life to learn and grow. And so it's very exciting to be on this journey with you guys.
No, likewise. Glad to have you on our team. Glad to be a part of yours. So appreciate you being here with us. Thank you. And I suspect we'll hear from you again before too long.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stick around. I'm sure we're gonna hit that goal, so you'll get a chance to hear that story.
I'm watching for this story. Guys, you got 30,000. What are we at right now? It's angel.com/theshift. You can go pledge. We can hear this story. We're at we need 20,000 more. 20,000 more.
About 20,000 more, and we'll reveal it.
You pledged 20,000 more to the shift, and this team. We get an amazing story that I've been wanting to hear for a while.
And George's being strict with you. He does not know what this story is. He has no idea.
I've been at my family activity with my headphones on, trying to listen to this story. No, I won't do that. My wife wouldn't. I appreciate her too much to do that. So.
Well, luckily this is recorded, so anybody can catch up with it later.
Yep.
I mean, luckily for all of you, not so luckily for me. This is going to be enshrined.
Let's just get 100,000 views on this video.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, share with all your friends. That way they can all hear the story.
Yes.
Awesome, guys.
Yes.
Take care.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you.
See ya. Have a good night. All right. Well, that was Jordan Harmon, VP of Originals over at Angel Studios, and one of the people who's working behind the scenes to make this happen, to make the shift happen. And one of the big reasons why we're now looking at well above $3 million in pledges. And in fact, we've got more pledges coming in right now. Let's call them out. Someone just pledged $150. Thank you, someone. Another person just came in with $500. Thank you.
Say thank you, another person?
Thank you, another pleasure. Someone else pledged $200. Jose pledged $50. Thank you so much, Jose.
Appreciate that.
Love getting a name in there instead of having to say, and another $500. Thank you so much. My goodness. This is incredible. And someone else just pledged $150. And they just keep rolling in. If you have any, oh my gosh,
Steve,
$1,000.
Wow.
Steve, thank you.
Thank you
So much. We are going to be making our decision as far as whether or not to open up investment round here really soon, and this is helping us. This is helping us make that decision. If you would like to pledge, please go to angel.com/theshift. It only takes a couple of minutes. All you're going to do is let us know how much you're thinking of investing, and slide us your email so that we can contact you when and if we open up the investment. You'll be one of the first people to know. That's the whole point of tonight. This is our last chance, your last chance, to let us know, hey, I believe in the shift, and if you open up investment again, I'm there. This is your last chance to let us know that. So go to angel.com/theshift to make that happen. Now tonight, coming up, we have a pretty special guest. Another guest that's going to be coming up tonight, and that would be my wife, Erin Heasley. Now, Erin,
the better half.
The better half. Oh, by far the better half. Erin, you might remember her from the Shift short film. And she played Molly in that. It was a smaller part in the short, much bigger part in the feature. And she will not be coming back for the feature, but I'm really digging a grave for myself right now.
Yeah, what a big emphasis on that.
Yeah, why would I emphasize that? Why would I point that out?
She's not coming back. Let me make it clear.
She's in the room, by the way, so she can hear everything I'm saying. But anyway, she'll be joining us a little bit later. And if you've ever seen us do a live stream with Erin before, then you'll know we can always expect the unexpected with her because she is not willing to let me get away with anything.
Oh, so. Yeah. I love hanging out with Erin when Brock's around because it's just so much fun at Brock's expense.
Yeah, it's entirely at my expense. But we wanted to share with you. And by the way, any more questions or comments that anybody has, let us know. Slide them to us in the chat, and our moderator will throw them up on the screen so that we can address them. But we're willing to take any and all questions. And I know there's questions out there. We have had this pitch video running as an ad lately, and we've had a lot of different comments about the pitch video, about some of the things that we're saying. And I know there are some people who have questions about our messaging and how we're presenting this to the world. And so if you've got those questions, please hit us, and we'd be happy to answer them. Tara says, if fans are just hopping on, can you review what pledging means? Yeah, so all pledging means is, pledging does not mean that you are giving us money tonight. That is not what is happening. We are not accepting any money. Right. Pledging simply means that you're saying, hey, I do want you to open up investment, and here's how much I would like to put towards the shift. That's all pledging is. Mm-hmm. So it's not about taking money right now. It's just about basically it's like making a promise. It's like making a promise.
Yeah, my brother said, he goes, oh, so it's like a jogathon.
It's like a jogathon.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what it is.
Kind of like a jogathon. Sure. We're doing a jogathon.
We're doing a jogathon.
Sans the jogging. I'm not doing that. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Maybe that could be a bonus.
Sierra says, also, how are you committing to producing a diverse movie that people of all backgrounds can see themselves in and relate to? Great question, Sierra. So one of the things that we definitely do want to do with the feature film is to have a diverse cast. In fact, if you look at the script, there are a number of parts in there that indicate already that we're looking for diversity in order to cast those parts. So that's definitely something that we have an eye on. We have not started casting yet. Once we do begin casting, my plan is to be open to people of all different kinds of backgrounds, and let them come and audition, and we'll cast for whoever is the best part, and doing that in a way that we're not we're not trying to make them all white people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and that's always the goal, right? The goal is you want to have the person who can embody the character the best, and that's who gets the job. And the example we always give is when we do auditions for Americanos for the principal. Like
we don't know what that is.
It's another show that Brock and I are working on, and we had somebody in mind. We knew who this character was, and then we did auditions, and somebody came in for it. It was a completely different read and a completely different take on the character, and we both looked at each other after he left and were like, that's the character.
Yeah,
like that. We had it wrong. That's the character. That's the guy. Yep. So the person who gets it right is the one who gets the job.
Yep. We just got a question from Marcia. It's just a 3-word question. She says, "What is this?
What is this?
What is this?
What is this?"
Hi, Marcia. I'm Brock. This is Orlando. I'm the writer and director of a film called The Shift, and Orlando is producing it. And we're here tonight talking to all of you about pledging your support to help us make this film so that we can get the funding to make it. The Shift is a film about a man who has an encounter with the devil. It doesn't go very well. And
it usually doesn't.
It doesn't usually go very well. If you see him, run away. This guy didn't. It went badly. And so now he's got to work that out. And there's actually a short film that you can watch right now at angel.com/theshift. And you can see kind of a piece of this movie that we're making. And you can see kind of the initial encounter that he has with the devil and what that's like. But we're taking that short film and we're turning it into a much, much bigger story. And so right now we're just talking about The Shift and talking about, what we need in order to make this feature film happen. We need money. So that's what it's all about. And if you have any more questions, I bet you there's a ton of people in the comments who would be more than happy to link you and tell you all about it. Someone just pledged $50. Thank you very much. Someone, my favorite someone. Another person just pledged $500. Thank you very, very much.
You get the same someone?
Maybe it was the same someone. Maybe they're just trickling it in, teasing us. What are we at right now? Are we? We're at
35.
Oh my gosh, we're at $3,035,000. That means we are just $18,000 shy of hitting our goal and releasing that embarrassing story out into the world.
You're gonna love it. It's fantastic, and I've been dying to share it.
Yeah,
but I've kept my word.
Orlando and Erin have respected my wishes and not let that story out into the world.
I don't even think I told Adrian. I don't think I told my wife.
No, we haven't told anyone because it's far too embarrassing. Okay, apparently my daughter knows, but that's it. So this whole thing did come about because of a short film. Orlando and I participated in the making of the Shift short film a number of years ago. Actually, I think most people are usually surprised when they find out how long ago we actually made this thing. It was 6 years ago.
6 years
that we shot it. This is before The Chosen existed. This is before anything really existed. As far as movies today, usually things don't take this long. But The Shift was not something that was created with the idea of, let's make a feature film now. Right. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm like, that'd be cool to do, but I didn't really have any ideas for it. The idea for the feature film came much later. And so The Shift was the short film was very much made in kind of this bubble of, let's do something really cool. And let's see if I can direct a film. And let's see if I can write a film. Mm-hmm. And let's see what happens if we get these people together and we make this thing. That's really the spirit in which The Shift was created. I had a story in my head I wanted to see on the screen. I didn't know if anybody else was ever really going to see it beyond Orlando, my wife, and the crew, and the cast and the crew. Yeah. I mean, that was really it. That was the ambition, which is a very, very small ambition. And if you had told me back then that this would be the result of all of that, I don't know how I would have reacted. That would have seemed like crazy talk to me. But we did. We made this short film, and because the ambition was small, we didn't get investors. We didn't get anything like that. We had $500. $500. When you watch that short film, and go to angel.com/theshift and check it out if you haven't already. When you watch that short film, it's important to keep in mind that is a $500 film. And look, when I say that, what that really means is that nobody got paid. That $500 was used for two things. It was used for food, and not even all the food that we needed. We had our associate producer, Richie Mireles. He catered one of our meals by making tacos at home and bringing it to set. Yeah. Because I didn't have enough money to cover every meal for every day that we were shooting. So that $500 covered that. It covered the steak that Satan eats. And the third thing it covered was some of Kevin's wardrobe. Some of his wardrobe, because I couldn't even afford the whole wardrobe. So some of what Kevin is wearing is other stuff that we had. So anyway, so this film was really made because we had a lot of great people volunteer to participate in making it. That's how this movie got made. This little short film, and thankfully we knew some really great people. We knew some great crew. We knew some great actors, and the film came off of the back of working on a haunted house. A month before we shot that thing, I was managing a haunted house, and every single person you see in that short film worked on that haunted house. That's who they were. They were all workers at this haunted house. And basically a month after the haunted house closed, I called everybody up and I just said, hey, would you guys be willing to come and work on this short film with me? And everybody said, yeah, because we had such a great time at the haunted house. Yeah, it was like the sequel to the haunted house. Great, let's all get back together. And it was just getting the gang back together. So it was really, really fun in that way. One of the really key people that made it happen was Kyle Jentz. Kyle Jentz served as my director of photography, and Kyle was extremely helpful because as a first-time director, there were a lot of things I didn't know. I've always loved film and loved studying film, but I hadn't necessarily had an ambition to make a movie before in my life until that year. And so Kyle was really instrumental in just kind of helping me figure out some things that I didn't know. For example, I didn't know anything about the 180 rule, which is a really, really basic thing.
Rule number one.
Yeah, rule number one. And for those of you that don't know, the 180 rule says that if you're think of people like having a conversation on film, and you got one person here and you got one person here. So there's a line that goes between them, and the camera has to stay on one side of that line at all times, no matter what angle you're shooting from, so that when you're cutting it together, it looks like people are actually talking to each other.
And it's not disorienting.
Right. If you have the line is here and you have the camera here to point at this person and the camera over here to point at this person, and then you cut that together, it's not going to look right. It's really hard to explain in this format, but trust me when I tell you it's a very basic thing that I did not know. So thankfully, Kyle was there to help me through some stuff like that. So the Shift short film, what you're looking at is a first-time director figuring things out as he goes. The fact that it is as good as it is, I think, is nothing short of a miracle. And Orlando, you have many, many more years of experience on me as far as filmmaking goes. Talk about that. How crazy is it that the Shift actually is any good at all?
Yeah. The Shift, it should be terrible, but it was. Oh, hold on, real quick. Jump in that real quick.
Scott has a comment for us. He says, I could tell the clip was not professionally made by a studio. Thanks, Scott. But you all did an awesome job on it, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that speaks to the same thing. Yeah. So to be honest, that was going to be my response. Is I wasn't there for day one. I was there for day two.
Yeah, day two.
Yeah.
And that's when we met.
Yeah, that's when we met. Because day one, I was out of town. I was up in the cabin with the family. And I got a call saying from Kyle, I think it was. He was like, "Hey, I'm working on the shoot, and they need insurance. Can we use your insurance?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Whatever, Kyle, go for it." So anyhow, so I go out to set and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is definitely a first time filmmaker set." I could tell. Yeah. But it's cool. So to be fair, we all start there. There, and I really enjoy being on people on sets with people who are learning the process, because it's you only experience that once, and once you've been through that, you don't go back, right? You learn new things, but you don't have that same going in eyes wide open and really excited and then messing everything up. But it really came down to having a lot of very experienced people on set who could be like, I understand what you want to do.
Right.
Here's how you actually do it.
Don't do that stupid thing.
Don't do that thing.
Do this smart thing instead.
Yes. So I get what you're saying. And to be able to have the experience to not only know what to do, but to understand what is trying to be conveyed. And then to politely, sometimes politely, say, okay, this is how you actually do that. And it's great for you. It's great for the filmmaker because that's how you learn. You're never going to learn if you don't just go out there and do it. And then, you do it wrong, or you have this scenario where someone goes, don't do that, do this instead.
Right.
Which is exponentially better.
Right.
So I always say that the success of the shift, aside from the script alone, is the crew and the crew rallying around and making it happen.
Right. Yeah. So, I look at that film, and subsequent to shooting it, then I was alone with it. Then I had to edit it, and I had to figure out how to work with a composer and get the music in and get the sound design. And I had really great people working on that with me too, except for the editor. The editor was me. So I was teaching myself how to edit while I was doing it.
Which I would say was really cool because I feel like you have a natural talent for editing. I don't know if it's because there's a translation in the writing, but that's
to me, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. And right. And so I feel like that didn't need nearly as much coaching and much work. Like you kind of
you
fell
didn't
in
see
that.
Me tearing my hair out.
That's true.
Why it's all down there.
That's right. So, you had hair at the beginning of the shit. Yes. Yeah, but it ended up really good, and I thought you did a great job with the edit.
Well, thank you. There we go.
Thank you,
There's
moderator.
a shot of me directing the shift on set.
Before he pulled his hair out.
Before I pulled all the hair out. So there we go. Thanks so much, John, for that.
I love it.
No, that's perfect.
I love it.
No, it is. Look, there's me and Travis. Travis, of course, played Satan. It's definitely kind of a minor miracle that I know people are like, oh, it doesn't look like a professionally made like Hollywood blockbuster. No, it doesn't. But it should not look as good as it does. It should not be as good as it is.
Correct.
And that's what gives us so much confidence in making this. Obviously, I've done many things since I did this Shift short film. But I think what gives us so much confidence going into making this feature film, and what gets us excited is that this is what we were able to do with $500. Imagine what the Shift could be with a proper budget. Right. I mean, we say that in the pitch video, and it's true. And it's just the talent and the team that we need, we have.
Right. And the support staff. Because, I mean, the other dynamic is it's not just the talent pool, because I would argue these were some of the best,
Right.
And so.
Well, and that's what I mean by we have them.
But I say, but it's not just that, but the quantity. Like, there was, 15 people doing this?
Right.
Like, instead of 30, 40 people that you would normally do for a film of a large amount.
Oh, we were cutting so many corners just to get it done.
I mean, everybody was wearing multiple hats, doing multiple jobs, and it is chaotic, but that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do when you have $500.
But I mean, look, that's 6 years ago. I don't want to paint with this brush where it's like, oh, these guys are coming from that and going. No. We've done a lot of things since then.
Right.
So we're not just jumping from that to a feature film. We've done a lot of work on our own talents and our own skills, and a lot of people who worked on the short film have since gone on to do incredible things. For example, one of the guys you'll see in some of these photos, his name is Cody Fletcher. Cody had never worked on a film set in his life, and the Shift was the first. He's kind of a bigger guy. John, if you can find a photo of the biggest guy on set, that's Cody. He came and worked on the Shift as a grip. It was the first time he'd ever been on a film set working as a grip, because he's a strong guy. Now that's Kyle, the DP. And Cody, so this was his first gig. Flash forward 6 years later, Cody is a rock star in the film world. He's not only working as a grip, he's working as a gaffer, a gaffer is kind of the best way to describe that is this guy kind of designs the lights.
So fun fact, I actually worked with him this morning.
Oh, see, there you go.
So working this morning, we had a commercial shoot with Foot Locker Champs and some of their brands, and they needed a gaffer last minute. Gave him a call, and he basically did the whole thing himself in terms of like the whole lighting plot. Like, dude's a rock star.
And he was the gaffer on the pitch video.
Yeah, gaffer on the pitch video.
Yeah. So Cody's a super talented guy who started out on the Shift And now it's just doing big things. And so, it's just that's how much time has passed since we've done this. And so there's just a lot more experience involved and a lot more, just a lot more experience and a lot more to bring to bear on this feature film than we had when we first made the short film. So if you've got concerns about the short film and you're like, it doesn't quite look, at the level that what you guys are talking about, that's fair. But imagine again what we can do with actual money. That's us with no money. Imagine what we can do with real money. We
could have lunch.
Yeah, we could have lunch. Hey, that'd be great. We didn't have to have Richie, bring his tacos. There's Richie with all his tacos.
There you go.
There it is. All made at home. That guy was awesome.
Although we probably should get Richie's tacos again.
We should get Richie's tacos again, just for old time's sake. Also, because they were really good. Yeah. Tonight, our goal is to hit $3,053,000. That will be $30,000 more than when we started this live stream. If this live stream started, we were at $3,023,000. If we can get to $3,053,000, there is an incredibly embarrassing story that I'm finally going to let everybody tell. That's what's at stake here tonight. You can go to angel.com/theshift to make that pledge. Also, if you've got any comments or if you have got any questions for us, please hit us up. Throw them in the chat, and our moderator will make sure we get to them. Looks like we got some pledges coming in. Someone just pledged $150. Thank you, mystery someone. Mystery someone. I love it. $150. Any more? Yes, another one. $500 just came in.
Thank you.
And another one came in for $1,000. Whoa, rock star right there. Thank you so much. And Andrew got a name this time. Andrew just pledged $150.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So those are coming in. John, what are we at right now? Can we see that up on screen? We're at $3,037,000. So we are just $16,000 away from hitting our target and releasing that story into the world. I'm of two minds on that. It's very personally embarrassing for me, but we'll let it happen.
It's a win-win for me.
It's a win-win for you.
Let's make that happen.
And for my wife, who's sitting in the wings waiting to tell this story.
Yeah, I'm sure she can't wait.
if you have any feeling for her whatsoever, you really need to make it happen. So one of the other things, when you're making a short film and you don't have a whole lot of budget, is you're looking for free locations.
Yes.
As much as you can get.
Yeah.
So
free everything.
So just free everything. And thankfully all of our locations were free. The house is just my house. Mm-hmm. It's just where I live. It's the kitchen. It's my kitchen.
It still has a dent in the wall.
It still has a dent in the wall. Yeah. So when Kevin, the actor Greg, threw the spoon, in the very first scene, he throws the spoon. It hit the wall, and he did that several times. And we've since had, repairs done on our walls and stuff, but we always tell the handyman, don't fill in those dents. Those dents are still there. That's a good memory for us. So those dents are still on the wall. The office was a lawyer that we work with. He just let us come in and gave us the keys, and we had the run of the place.
We've since become really good friends.
So we've since become a really good friend and a really strong advocate for the shift. And the outdoor scene in the alleyway was only a block away from the police department, the Fresno Police Department, and we did it on a Saturday without permits.
There it is.
Here we go. Here's the alleyway, and for the whole car accident and all of that, we blocked the street. Not with barriers and stuff, but we definitely took up the whole street. Yeah. Nobody ever threw us out. Nobody ever came by. We got really lucky. No permits, and nobody asked us to pack up and leave. It helped that it was a Saturday and it was downtown, not a lot of traffic, but still, we should not have been doing what we were doing. But Fresno's pretty cool.
And then that's guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, it's guerrilla filmmaking. And look, if they had told us to move along, we would have done. We weren't breaking any laws or anything, but we definitely were taking advantage of the city's good graces for a little while there, and they were thankfully happy to do that. This is the sugar glass. This is the sugar glass that my wife made in our oven. That is the glass that is crashing in on Kevin when he's hit by that car. I never actually tasted it. I don't know what it tastes like, but it was pretty effective. It looks really fake when you look at it up close, but just flying around inside the cab, it looks real enough.
I'm sure it tastes like sugar.
I'm sure it tastes like sugar. It's sugar glass. That's what it's called. And then the diner that we shot in was actually a huge source of stress because I was really intent on using this very particular, locally famous diner for the shift. it has a very retro, like 1950s feel, and I was very excited to use it. And it took me a month to secure the location. Like I went and met with the owners, and we just arranged everything. We got the insurance we needed, all that stuff. And then 4 days before we were supposed to shoot, they called me up and they said, "Yeah, this is a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be. We don't want you to come."
Yeah.
And my heart fell because look, getting a shoot together is not easy. It's a lot of moving parts, and if any one of those parts doesn't breaks or doesn't work out for some reason, you're in big trouble.
You can't reschedule. You can't just like, hey, everybody, let's just come back another day.
No, it doesn't work that way. So it was really stressful, and thankfully, Country Waffles in Fresno, the owner there, was kind enough to invite us to his store and let us take the place over. Not only did he let us take over, he threw me the keys and walked away. And we shot in that restaurant for 14 hours straight for that diner scene, which is fully 2/3 of the short film. It was all shot in one night. 14 pages of dialogue. It was a heck of a night. And it was something that was really, really, I didn't know I was being stupid, is what I'm trying to say. As a first-time director, I didn't know that you weren't supposed to shoot 14 pages in one day. It's actually supposed to be closer to 3. So needless to say, it was a stressful time, especially for our actors, especially for Travis, who's playing Satan, because he had so many lines. And the longer the night went on, the more lines he had, because we were basically shooting in order so that we were ending with the prayer. By the time we got to the prayer, Travis had been working for 12 hours straight. He was totally exhausted. And
that's where he's also the most intense. So that's where he has to give the biggest performance at the end of 12 hours of working.
Exactly. And so on his reverse angles, and reverse angle just means that like when the camera's behind him and you're looking to Kevin, he's actually got the script out on the table in front of him and reading it because he was so tired at that point, like to actually memorize that. And anyways, it just helped him, and you couldn't tell he was doing it. I mean, I could tell because I know he's doing it, but most people can't tell. I'm sure you've never realized that. But he's actually reading that thing when the camera's not on his face. But that's just kind of some of the stuff that we had to do. But anyways, this film happened because of the good graces of a lot of people. It not only our actors, our volunteers, but just the support staff, the people who lent us their locations, my in-laws who babysat our kids, and just there's so many people that are involved in making something like this. And so when it results in something that's of good report, that's worthy to be recommended, that you can use to inspire people to pledge $3 million, it turns out into something like that because of people like that, because of people who are willing to sacrifice and to give, and they certainly did on this film.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. You know what? We're gonna shake it up a little bit. We actually have a little behind the scenes video that we would love to share with you. This is a look at the making of The Shift. John, can we throw that up?
Yeah, you go back into the garage there in the laundry room.
So this is gonna be garage.
That's just gonna be there.
We're ready.
Okay, ready? All right. Sound ready.
Speed.
Camera. Whoa. Camera speed.
All right, The Shift, scene 1, take 1. Mark.
Wait.
you're about to be peeing, you're about to be peeing, and your punk ain't about to be peeing.
I shared my bacon with him. Give me some bacon right here. Bacon. In case you don't know our names, my name is Sully.
You know what it is. I don't want to know your name.
This is Andrew. Everyone stop moving. It's perfect. Right there.
Freeze. Unfreeze.
All right, that is the shift behind the scenes. That's not a video we've shown a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
But it is a fun one.
I love watching BTS
Yeah.
videos, especially our own projects. Like it's just
For
because
sure.
you're so in the moment. You're doing all these things.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to go back and look at it from a third party perspective.
Yeah, we actually also shot some behind the scenes footage and interviews for the pitch video.
Oh yeah.
And we are hoping we should be debuting that.
Okay.
Kind of a look behind the scenes of that here, probably in the next couple of weeks.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, watch out for that. Will be happening. Let's check out some pledges. Where are we at right now? Someone just pledged $500. Awesome. Thank you, someone. Someone is pledging a lot of money tonight. Another $300 from someone. And Cherry pledged, is it Cherry or Sherry?
Sherry.
Sherry pledged $300. I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard. I don't know. And someone else pledged $150. Wow. They just keep coming in. And another individual pledged $500.
Thank you, individual.
My goodness. And another one came in with $1,000. Wow, you guys really, really want to hear this story, don't you?
Of course they do.
Amanda pledged $500. Way to go, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much. And someone else just pledged $150. Wow. They're still coming in. And a $500 pledge.
Jeez.
How is this all happening so fast and so quickly? We can't even keep up with that. Okay. What are we at right now? We're at 3,041,000. That means we are 12,000 away from releasing this embarrassing story. I think we should probably end early tonight, just before we hit that number, so that we can just. No one wants me to be embarrassed.
That's not going to happen.
I'm fairly certain of
That's
that.
not going to happen.
If you would like to see me be embarrassed, let us know in the comments, and we'll see if we can't make that happen. Also, we are taking any questions that anybody has tonight, so please put those in the comments, and we'll be sure and get to them. Angel.com/the shift is where you want to go in order to make those pledges, in order to get us to that $3,053,000 goal we have for tonight. We are going to welcome a new person here with us. But before we do that, let's check out one more video here real quick. You know who we haven't heard from tonight? We have not heard from Dallas Jenkins.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, Dallas Jenkins is an executive producer on The Shift.
Yep.
For those of you that don't know who Dallas Jenkins is, and if you know who I am at all, I can't believe you wouldn't know who Dallas is. But Dallas is, of course, the creator of The Chosen. And he saw the
that
shift,
tiny little show.
that tiny little show that could, that it now is doing. No, but Dallas saw the shift a while ago, and he was kind enough to sign on board as executive producer about a year ago now.
Yeah, he's been on,
so he's been on for a while and sticking with us. And but
he hasn't abandoned us yet.
He hasn't abandoned us yet. No, he's not.
That's
going
a good sign.
He's a good guy. But yeah, I think having Dallas as executive producer tells you a lot about the level of quality that we're trying to achieve, that we will achieve with the shift.
Right.
Dallas is there to help us up our game, and he's got a lot of experience not only as the creator of The Chosen, but also as a filmmaker himself, having done a number of films. And so we've already had a number of conversations, kind of a mentor-mentee situation. He's just been an incredible blessing for this. And in fact, Friday night, we're going to hear from Dallas. He's going to bring a special message. We're going to do another live stream Friday, 3 p.m. I guess 3 p.m. would be the afternoon Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing another live stream, so please join us for that. But we do have the video that we've been kind of putting out there. Basically, Dallas speaking from his heart as to why he believes in the shift.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money, but I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where the shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So the shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have, and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of the shift and the future of the shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side, I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
Nothing.
Tomorrow.
I am greater than God.
Jesus
I am
And that's what the shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
Express your interest in backing the shift by clicking on the link today to be among the first to know if the offering launches.
How tiny does that number look now? That $522,000 when I took that screenshot. It's such a small number. Hey, this is Erin Heasley, who is my wife and also plays Molly in the Shift short film, and
I will not be in the feature.
There we go.
I will not.
Here we go. No, she won't. But We'll talk about why in a minute. But yeah, Erin is here to join us, and her perspective on this whole project is pretty unique. As my spouse and as someone, yes, who participated in the short film, but also as the person who is my main support at home and on this project in a lot of ways, I think her perspective is really valuable and interesting. Erin is totally cool if you have a question or a comment for her. So please go ahead and drop those in there.
At least we think so.
At least we think so. I assume you'll be cool with it. Also, there's something that Dallas said in that video. He talked about how he connected with the shift. He talked about how he connected with it on both an intellectual level and on an emotional level. Let us know how you connect with the shift. What is it that you connect with the most? Whether that's the short film or the script or whatever, let us know in the comments. We'd love to call those out and just see what are the different ways that people are coming into this thing and how are they approaching it and what are they connecting with. So Erin, welcome. Thank you for putting up with us and with this project and for waiting in the wings for so long.
I like it so much better now that it's not in my bedroom anymore.
That does help quite a bit, yes. We've definitely upgraded now that we, we're vaccinated and we can be out and about and in an office and other places. So let's, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Prior to the shift, had you ever acted before?
Not as an adult.
Okay.
I did a lot of like plays and theater as a kid. I flirted with the idea of acting for like a hot second. But most of my adult work has been on camera as a presenter. So I did educational videos and was their teacher and would present material. So the camera is a comfortable place for me, but not necessarily in a scripted role.
Yeah. Now, you got to play Molly, who we all know is adorable and lovely and has only kind things to say.
And isn't at all cheating on her husband. How
did you feel about playing Molly? Being asked to play Molly and then playing Molly?
Well, to be clear, I became Molly because of nepotism. And it's a lot easier.
We did not hold auditions.
No.
This was not that kind of.
It's a lot easier to ask your spouse to work for free than it is to ask a working actress to work for free. And so I very much became Molly just because I lived in the house it was filmed in. But at first I was really deeply concerned. Like I read the short film script and I turned to Brock and I was like, is everything okay? Like, is there something you need to talk to me about? Like, is this how you see me? And after he assured me that it was not how he saw me, then it became the conversation flipped to like, this is not the get out of jail free card for all the junk you keep forgetting to do. Like, this is not your free pass. No. And so the term shifted in our house only gets to happen every now and then.
Yeah.
We usually do it to him.
Yeah, we don't let that. We got a question here for you.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Rachel says, "Hello, Erin. Hey, will you be in the feature film?" Just kidding. You definitely wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah, it's funny because, there's that awkward conversation once you've shot a short film for the director to come back and be like, hey, we're making a feature and you're not in it. But it was one of those, like, you get on board so all the other actors will understand that, like, I fired everyone. But also my day job is not, I have no desire to be Molly ever again.
Yeah, and for those that are...
What was it like to be directed by your husband?
We're going to come back to Kara's comment in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get Orlando's question.
Can I answer it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we've talked a lot tonight about how Brock was a first-time director, and I think that's really important to talk about. It's really important to know that the very first scene he ever directed was mine. And the very first actor he ever directed was me. So let's just say that when Molly gets really good and irritated with Kevin, it was very method.
Yeah, it was totally intentional. Like that wasn't.
Yeah.
I was trying not to tick you off, but
yeah. And I had a massive paper due for a class that, like, I was burning daylight and he kept wanting another take of the same line. And
I think we did 15 takes of that scene.
So yeah, by the time, like,
it was a oneer,
Yeah,
like yeah. It's gotta be right.
I like to say though that I was the only actor on set that had their lines memorized. So that's my claim to fame.
You just sold all your fellow actors.
All of them. Travis,
not
looking at
kind.
you.
That's
No.
not kind. No. Travis had so many lines. What was Kara's comment? Let's check that out. She says, so great to see Erin, but we need that story. Come on, people. Yeah, so Kara is talking, of course, about our goal tonight. We were trying to hit $3,053,000 in pledges. If we were able to hit that, there is an extremely embarrassing story to me personally that Erin and Orlando will be telling.
Together. We're going to kick Brock off all together.
Yeah, so the only way that can happen is if we get to $3,053,000, and someone just pledged $150 to help us get that much closer. Another person just pledged $1,000.
Oh no, someone just pledged.
Someone did. Nice. Kaysen just pledged $1,000.
Nice.
Thank you, Kaysen. And someone else just pledged $500. They are trying so hard to make this happen.
I joked with Brock at the break that I had flirted with the idea of pledging $20,000 about 20 minutes ago just to get the story to you all. And so he'd have to read my name on camera, but it felt a little cruel. So I haven't done it yet.
So we're sitting at $3,044,000 right now, which means that we are only $9,000 short of our $30,000 goal to release that story out. So come on, people, let's get to 350, and then I'll just cut it off. I think we'll just stop the stream. No. I'll make good on it. If we actually get there, I will step aside and allow this story to be told. So you're going to be recast.
Correct.
You're okay with it. You understand? I mean, why? I mean, the reason really is we want to up the feature film in every way. We want to up the talent, obviously. No, but we want the marquee value.
Of course.
I mean,
of course.
Look, if we're all honest with ourselves, we don't go to a movie that has nobody we recognize in it. We automatically assume, that must not be a very good movie, unless it's a horror movie. If you're going to see a movie and you don't recognize the actors, chances are it's a horror movie. Horror movies, for some reason, they can get away with that.
I would love when y'all get really big in your careers, real big and fancy, if you did a couple movies with unknown people. Go launch their careers. But this is not one of those movies.
This isn't that movie, no. I'm not opposed to working with unknown people. It's just that's not what this movie is. So if you could pick anybody in Hollywood to play Molly, who would you pick?
I would pick Jennifer Garner.
She knew that real quick.
And I had to say it reverently because Jennifer Garner is amazing. She's beautiful and talented. And I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but she is delightful. And I think she would just be, just love Jennifer Garner. Since Alias, I've loved Jennifer Garner. And if Jennifer's unavailable, Amanda Seyfried.
I never know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, I don't know how to say her name.
But she's great.
Amanda, if you're listening, let me know. But I think she's fantastic too.
Yeah, no, they're both excellent picks. I'd be very happy with either.
Right?
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. So, okay, now we're going to get into kind of the uncomfortable part.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Woo.
So that's all the fun stuff. When it comes to making this film, and particularly when it comes to crowdfunding for this film, there's a lot that's really hard about that. And the person who bears probably the biggest brunt of the hard is probably you. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
So this project has now spanned years, mm-hmm. and it's probably still have years ahead of us. Even if we, open up investment tomorrow and we get all the funding we need, we're still talking about a while, because it takes a while to make a movie before this movie is actually released, and so we're still in the middle of things. Mm-hmm. What has been? I mean, don't spare my feelings. You don't have to. I know you don't anyway, so I don't have to say that.
I love you.
I love you too. What has been the hardest part of all this for you?
So I was thinking about this. I got this question in advance. Spoiler. And I was thinking about this on the drive over. And the only way I think I can, other than Brock's incessant need to refresh his phone every 5 seconds, which makes me a nervous wreck, because then I look and then it's a whole thing. The only way I can describe it is I want you to think for a minute about what your wildest dream is. Imagine what's the thing you would want to have most in the whole wide world. And then imagine that God said it was going to happen, which is really cool. But then every time you started to get close to it, the answer was not yet, not yet, not yet. over and over and over again. And you start to feel crazy. Like, was I wrong? Did I hear it wrong? Am I wrong? Am I nuts? Is it garbage? And that's really what this process has been like. It's been like knowing that there was something important to say, knowing that Brock was supposed to say it, knowing this was supposed to be the direction for our family, but every single time being told not yet. And that's not yet financially. That's not yet stability. That's not yet career. That's not yet direction. That's just a big not yet. And I'm not a patient person, which is why we're stuck in this, hamster wheel of not yet, I believe. But it's incredibly, it's me.
I can blame you.
No.
Why won't you just learn this lesson?
No. But I'm stuck in the not yet, but then I look over and I watch Brock struggling to grapple with the not yet too. And that it just gets messy. It gets really hard. And there is a fatigue and exhaustion that comes from constantly being told not yet. That makes me a little jaded, like a little cynical. Like Brock was all excited about the 3 million. And I'm like, yeah, wait for the not yet. And so I'm
way to turn up.
I know, right?
Super positive into it.
But I'm just really excited for when it is now. Like I'm super excited for that. But the holding on gets hard. It gets really hard, especially like it's really exciting right now because they're starting to build momentum. But there were days where it was like me and Brock against the world. And those days were really, really hard.
Yeah. Looks like we got a question that's coming in for you. Let's see here. Rachel says, Erin, what is your favorite scene from The Shift?
From the short or from the feature?
Well, so can I out you for a second?
Sure.
Erin has not read the feature film script, so she doesn't know the feature film. I don't even know why you would volunteer that.
Well, because I feel like she just asked, and I want to be nice to the good people, so they'll pledge the money so we can humiliate you. I don't know how this turned on me.
So Erin is just. Do you want to talk about that? Like,
no.
Why won't you read that thing?
I don't know. Wow. Hello, good people.
I didn't think we were going here tonight, but here we are. You opened that can.
I did. There comes a time where support is a messy thing, where you want to be the greatest cheerleader, the greatest supporter, the greatest spouse on planet Earth. And the worst thing you could do is not like something the person you're supposed to be creating or supporting creates. And so like for a while it was this like terrifying fear of like, I'm not going anywhere near that with a 10-foot pole because the not yets are about to break me. And if I don't like the script, like where are we then? Like, what do I do with that? So that was like a good 90% of it. And then like the whole world started pretty much enjoying it, with the exception of a few commenters that are like, the greatest fodder for dinner.
We will share some of that.
Oh man, we sit around the dinner table often and like read the nasty comments, which are hilarious. So other than those people, like people were really enjoying it, and then it kind of became like I want to see it. Like I'm not gonna read it because I want to see it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Is
it? Does it make me sound terrible?
No. I've made my peace with it. I mean, look. In some ways, it's healthy to have your spouse have a little bit of distance from the things that you create because you can't
go down too far in that rabbit hole together, or there's no one there to feed the children or pay the bills. Ha ha.
Well, and look, I think
I pay the mortgage.
I think that you and I thrive on a certain amount of friction. Friction in the sense of we are not totally aligned in our likes. For instance, I'm way into sci-fi. My favorite type of sci-fi film would be like a time travel film. Like I'll watch anytime. She hates time travel films.
And that was the other piece. I don't like science fiction.
She doesn't like science fiction. So
like the opportunity for me to not like this one was present, and I just can't risk it.
Yeah.
Not when my whole life is riding on it. That's too much pressure.
Do you also not like sci-fi? But do you like The Shift? Let Erin know so that she can have some peace. Kara says, love Erin's authenticity. And that is pretty much what The Shift is about. Faith in the struggle while waiting and waiting.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a reason I hit on that topic. There's definitely, because look, we started waiting in our life and family experience before The Shift was even a gleam in my eye. I mean, it has been a constant theme in our lives. Yeah. I mean, from just kind of a lot of difficult circumstances under which you and I got together, which I am not going into tonight, but needless to say that our coming together was fraught with peril and waiting and difficulty. But then also we have our middle daughter who has special needs, and we went through a 6-year struggle to come to terms with her, just emotionally. And we're finally out of that, but that was a long time to struggle with your child. Not to say that it isn't still a struggle, but it's a struggle in a different way now. Someone just pledged $150. Thank you, someone.
Thank you.
Getting us closer to that goal. Another person pledged $1,000.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I can confirm that Orlando's not off camera pledging with his phone.
That's true. That's not
It's not him.
But yeah, oh gosh, we're at $3,045,000. We only need 8,000 more, and we have got this story, and it's going to come out. I don't know. It may not happen tonight, you guys.
Ah!
Oh no, you lost your earpiece.
It always happens.
I know. I don't know why it doesn't stick in
They
your
won't
ear.
stay in my ears.
Oops. No. There we go.
Love sci-fi. No, don't be sorry, Stephanie. I'm thrilled you love sci-fi. It's clearly going to be beneficial to us.
Yes. All right. I don't know if we just lost our audio. I'm sorry for doing this live. John, can you say something so we can confirm if we've got audio still? Okay, we're good. Sorry. All right, we're good. We can keep on going. So if you don't like sci-fi but you like the shift, let us know. Please.
Kara just said.
Kara said, okay. Kara says, Erin, I don't like sci-fi. I love this. Well,
and
how
dare you?
I trust Kara. I trust you, Kara.
Thank you, Kara. So it's a little bit of reassurance there for you. So that's what's been like the hard part. But what's been the best part? Because it hasn't all been bad for you.
No. Oh my gosh, we've had some of the most fun experiences we've ever had have been because of this mess. And someday
Thank you. Like even when you're talking about it positively, it's like you just gotta like spin it just a little bit.
Someday when Jeff Harmon gives me the okay, I'll tell the story I really want to tell. So Jeff, if you're watching, call me and we'll set it up. But some of the best parts of all of this joyful crowdfunding really has been the opportunity for the world to see who I know and what I know that he's capable of. Like, it never gets old to watch people, and Orlando too, to watch people react to them at the level in which I feel like they should be seen as. Like, it's really cool. Like when we took our trip to Georgia and people were like excited to meet them and wanting to work with them and showing them spaces and making offer. Like, it was like, yes, like finally, like people are starting to see what I've known all this time. And we've had a lot of really fun experiences. We've been able to do a little bit of travel for it. Meeting all of you has been super exciting. Kara, who just said she likes sci-fi, sent me the sweetest message this week. And it made my whole week. So there have been a lot of really beautiful things.
Rachel says it's a beautiful mess.
It is. And it is a mess.
Sometimes it is.
You should see my bathroom right now. It's a mess.
Our house is a neglected thing during these
campaigns. It is. But it's been a lot of fun.
Photos to cut. No.
No. And just the pitch video was so fun.
Yeah.
That we just did was so fun, and meeting everybody. It's been a really exciting opportunity.
Yeah. We got a question here. Hopefully it's one for you. Oh gosh, Roper wants to know if we have any marriage advice.
I think that
Don't make a movie.
Yeah,
don't make a movie.
Don't crowdfund.
That's Orlando's advice.
Don't do a jogathon. No, I think the best piece of advice is to never stop playing. Never stop having fun.
Yeah.
Brock and I took a tiny little day getaway before this week, so that as these lives, started happening more and more, so that we could just play. Make sure, because there's so much stress. If you don't have some fun, you'll get lost.
Yeah.
So I think play.
That's solid advice.
And make fun of them all the time.
Yeah.
Keep them humble.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that part.
It's my job.
So I know you have got there's some things on the making of the short film that you got to see that very few people got to see. And I know there's one story in particular, and I always love it when you tell this story.
Do you want me to tell it again?
If you wouldn't mind.
The good people have heard it before.
Well, not everybody here is. I mean, we've had a lot of new people. We have $3 million in pledges. I don't know if you heard that, but that represents a lot more people.
All right.
That have now discovered the shift.
All right. The story Brock's talking about was our script table read. So traditionally, before the shooting starts, the cast gets together and they sit around typically a table. That's why it's called a table read. And they read the script for the first time, so that they can kind of work out the kinks. Greg and I met, on a side room that night and worked on some of our stuff. Greg and Travis chatted, that sort of thing. But when we had the whole script table
Someone
read,
just buys $1,000.
Woohoo! Thank you, someone. When we had the whole table read, the scripts that were handed out to the cast, we didn't have the prayer section of the script in our scripts. So my script had all of the lines and all of the dialogue, and then at the end it said Kevin prays. That's all we had. And so as we were doing the table read, we were sitting in a circle on the floor. There was no table. And we're going through and it's building and everyone's doing their thing. And then it gets to that final scene in the diner and Satan starts to yell and Greg starts the prayer. And it's the first time any of us had heard the prayer. And very much like those of you that watched it for the first time, when he said amen and it fell deadly silent in the room, nobody moved. And nobody, I get chills thinking about it. Nobody moved and nobody spoke. And there was a hush that came over the room. And I looked over and Cody, the guy that they were talking about earlier, the big, strong guy, was sobbing, just sobbing. And nobody moved for a good long while. Nobody wanted to disturb the spirit that was in that space. And it was the first time. There have been several of them along this 6-year journey. It was the first time that I caught a glimpse that this was important, that this was not just for fun, that there was something here that needed to happen and needed to be told and needed to impact people. And it was a super sacred, cool moment. And I've seen the shift so many times that it doesn't always happen, but every now and then I'll watch it and get to that final scene and have that same feeling. We were at a film festival in Ojai and that happened. Mm-hmm. It just got very quiet afterwards. And it's always it's one of my favorite shift memories.
No, and it is for me as well. And the other part of that is that, Greg, who plays Kevin, he had not read that prayer, because I handed it to him literally that night. And so him and Travis, who played Satan, they had not rehearsed. Mm-hmm. That table read was really the first time they'd ever interacted before as those characters. And so when they were saying that prayer, when Greg was saying the prayer and Travis was, yelling at him, they overlapped and they synced up so that they both ended at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Was completely by accident. We couldn't have planned that. And in fact, when we later had to shoot it, recreating that feeling was really important and also almost impossible. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we had to record both of their parts separately. And then they're overlapped in editing. But it was incredible that first time they read it, they actually mm-hmm. synced up exactly perfectly right. And I think that contributed to that feeling that we had.
For sure. And when people finally got up, they got up reverently, very quietly. It was just a feeling of what do we do after that?
Yeah,
where do we, what happens after that? And Cody pulled himself together and we got back to, rehearsing and stuff. But it was in that moment that I knew.
Yeah. No, I think in a lot of ways that night, that moment more than any other is what birthed all of this. Because
I knew I was in this mess.
Yep. That's
whether I wanted to be or not.
Well, great. Well, any parting thoughts?
That's not what it says.
Words of wisdom. What?
Number I says.
But we haven't hit the goal. You can't tell an embarrassing story yet.
It says any embarrassing. It says any embarrassing. Not would you like to tell the embarrassing.
I don't think you need to tell just any. We don't need to compound the embarrassing stories tonight. I don't think we can handle more than one.
Good people of the internet, if you ask questions about embarrassing things for Brock, then the moderator will put them up and I'll have to answer them.
I don't think we necessarily want to do that either. But
that's how it works.
Hey, we should watch a video. Loophole. Is what we should. No, look, Erin's going to hang on. If we do hit the goal, I'll put her back in the chair and she will get to tell that story.
Whoa!
No! Wow. We just had an investor.
A pleasure.
It's a pleasure. A pleasure just came in with $25 $1,000. No, hold on, let's do the math. Let's make sure the math is right on that.
Oh, of course it's right.
Yeah, we're at $3,071,000 in pledges.
Look, they put it on the screen.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna step out.
Go to your video.
We're gonna go to a video. Let's check out that pitch video again. Let's check that out, and then when we come back, Orlando and Erin are gonna tell the story, and I'm gonna go hide in shame.
Why does Hollywood always get Bible movies so wrong? How could you cast Batman as Moses and still have the movie be more boring than church? Plus, they should have saved Christian Bale to play Jacob. Rachel! There are two problems when it comes to faith-based movies. Number one, most Christian films look cheap because they don't have the budget. Money may be the root of all evil, but it's also the root of a good movie. The second problem is when Hollywood attempts to make their own faith movie, which is when you get Noah talking to rock monsters. Was a global flood not epic enough for you, Hollywood? Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. And watching them is like walking on Legos with your eyes. It's hard to feel God in a faith-based film when they have the production value of a church play.
I don't feel safe.
Hey, you don't cry until the last scene.
Pray for them. Hollywood has all of the production value, but none of the Christian value. How can we as believers enjoy a faith-based film that's as enjoyable as a blockbuster, but retains the power and truth of the Bible? We need a Hollywood-quality movie created by actual believers, and that movie is The Shift. It's about a man who meets the devil himself and gets banished to a dark, parallel earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves. The script explores some of today's hardest questions about maintaining faith, like how can a loving God allow suffering? Or how can I overcome feelings of despair and hopelessness? Finally, you can see a faith-based film that feels like your favorite movies. The Shift is a sci-fi film that will make you think deeply like Inception and weep like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. Man, even his ugly cry looks good. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not that talented. Using popular genres to share faith-based stories is a great way to entertain and inspire a love for God. Look at C.S. Lewis, who used fantasy to share Christian themes and inspire millions. And make millions. Even Jesus used creative storytelling to make his sermons more interesting. Parables. I'm talking about parables. We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. But rather than pass around a donation plate, we want you to own part of the movie. Express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today to be among the first to know if the offering launches. The plan is for The Shift to be distributed by Angel Studios, which helped The Chosen become the largest crowdfunded media project of all time. Angel Studios' distribution of The Chosen then went on to generate over $70 million in revenue and over 250 million views. Here's what the creator of The Chosen has to say about The Shift.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level.
Angel Studios also helped the Wingfeather Saga, an animated fantasy series created by a Christian author, become the largest crowdfunded kids and family animated project in history. When you invest in The Shift, you're not just investing in a groundbreaking Christian film. You have the potential to share in the profits. Now, we don't have one of these prophets to promise that you'll make this profit. But I am going to repeat that The Chosen earned $70 million in revenue. That's the highest earning faith-based project of the last 2 years. The Shift not only has the incredible potential in the marketplace, it's just an incredible movie. Listen to these reviews from folks who watched the short film. Jane F. wrote, "This looks amazing. I've never seen a faith-based film like this." Ronnie said, "There's actually no way to convey how this spoke to me just now. I look forward to seeing what God does with this film." And Jason commented recently with, "Wow, just wow." And what will really wow you is discovering that the short film was created with almost zero budget and it has already touched hundreds of thousands of lives. Imagine the impact The Shift can have on hearts and minds with the proper funds. Most indie Christian films operate with a budget of about $500,000. And honestly, it shows. She's fine. Maybe the little shepherd boy could say a quick prayer? Yep, we good? With 10 times the production value, we can truly do justice to the epic themes in the Bible. So express your interest in backing The Shift by clicking on the link today. Look, there's nothing wrong with a film that's a labor of love, but those usually just become cult classics, which is not the best label for a Christian movie to receive. Enjoy Sunday morning values with Saturday night entertainment. Click on the link to express your interest in backing the shift today to be among the first to know if the offering launches.
So that angel looked strangely familiar.
Did she?
Yeah, I don't know where I know her from.
I don't know. She's not an actress.
And she definitely won't be in the feature.
She will not be in the feature.
Okay, so before we jump into the story, I just want to reiterate, like, we have way too much fun. I'm pretty sure, like, 20 minutes into our Georgia trip, Brock was done with us. Like, he's like, what did I get into?
And I was worried. I told Brock, I was like, I hope that, like, by the end of this trip, Orlando's not over me, because I can be a little much sometimes. And I was very worried I was going to, like, wear Orlando out.
No, it was...
But it was Brock.
It was Brock. And pretty quickly. To the point where on the way back, like, he has us all sitting in different places.
we didn't get to sit together on the plane on the way home.
Okay.
Go ahead. People are so excited. We need all the stories, Erin. I'm here for you, Suzanne. Susan, I'm here.
Yeah.
Brock would very much like me, before I humiliate him, to tell you there are only 5 hours left to pledge.
Yes. So go to angel.com/theshift.
Yes.
You can check out the short film and pledge your support.
And maybe if we get to 4 million, Brock will jog for real.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Can I promise that for him?
And we get to shoot a little video about it, like document it.
Like Brock's running journey.
We'll get like a steady cam in there and like do all these like dramatic, like spinning, like Michael Bay videos.
We'll do a whip pan. Brock loves the whip pan.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens. All right, set the stage for this.
Okay.
Pledges.
There are
some pledges.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got very distracted. I don't see them, Brock. There we are. Thomas just pledged $500. Thank you, Thomas. And thank you for sharing your name. Someone else just pledged
$50. Thank you.
Thank you, someone
Appreciate
else.
that.
And another with 500.
500.
And they're not even pledging to humiliate you. Like, they're pledging.
That's true.
For the value of the project.
That's true.
$3,072,818. And to whomever of you took my idea and pledged $25,000, I got you. Okay, in order to know this story, you have to know something really crucial about Brock. Okay, Brock is really good at. He didn't think I was going to go with good. He thought this was going somewhere else.
Sure.
Brock is really good at focusing. Like, he can get in a groove and, like, anything could be happening around him and he's lasered in. Mm-hmm. So when we went on our scouting trip, Brock was so focused. Mm-hmm. Very, very focused on finding just the right locations. In seeing Georgia, he was mesmerized by the beauty of the state. He was very, very laser focused. Now, the other thing you need to know about Brock is that when he's in this state of focusedness, he should not be doing anything else. He just shouldn't. Like, say, I don't know, operating a moving vehicle.
Driving.
He should not be the driver. That should not occur. It just shouldn't. But despite my repeated 21 years of begging him to not be the driver, he was the driver on the Scout.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Yes. Yes. And so
great story, guys.
We'd been driving around Georgia for what, like 2 days at this point? And for 2 solid days, I had been sitting in the back seat saying, I think someone else should drive. I would like someone else to drive. Then it got more advanced to, like, I'm on the insurance too. Like, I know Orlando isn't on the insurance, but, like, I'm on the insurance. Like, maybe I should drive. Like, maybe you could see things better if I drove. And every time he was like, I'm fine. I'm a good driver.
After making, like, really, like, last minute sharp turns and hard stops.
So much so that Orlando's in the front seat. Well, you can tell that.
Yeah, so I'm looking for, usually, the seats have like that handle above the window. This car didn't have a handle. And so I'd constantly like reach up and like, there's nothing there.
Like every 5 minutes, Orlando's
just like kind of leveraging, like kind of pushing against
and I'm like all the way against the side console, just holding on because he's like, oh, there's an alley. And there we went. And so after like 2 full days of it, I swear it had been like 3 seconds after I had said for like the 1,000th time, maybe I should drive.
Well, it was because he missed a turn. And so we needed to make a U-turn. And there was no real place to make a U-turn. And he was like, I think it was, like a driveway or something. Well, and she made like this super quick last minute U-turn. And again, we're doing this whole thing.
We're all plastered against the wall. And the GPS kept saying at the next turn, go left. Mm-hmm. And all Brock heard in his focusedness was go left. And so there we went.
We went left onto the off-ramp of a freeway.
Yes.
Going the wrong way on an off-ramp on a freeway.
In
And
Georgia.
we are screaming and freaking out.
Both of us. Like, by this point, we're now, like, little girls screaming.
You gotta be kidding me.
Like we're entering the freeway on an exit, and cars are coming.
Cars are coming.
And then at this point, I think it registers to Brock that perhaps we've reached an unsafe level as well. And he says, he does one of these, like, I don't know what to do. And so he, like, finally, like, he's like, he just keeps screaming, the GPS said left. The GPS said left.
Yes, left at when you can actually make a left-hand turn, not just at the next,
not just right
road.
now. Yeah. So we're like, I don't know, feet, like many feet into the freeway exit when he finally like yanks
huge U-turn, like Fast and Furious U-turn,
to then become an Exeter off the freeway ramp like you're supposed to. And he's all freaked out, and he pulls one of these things that like I've only seen my dad do a couple times. My dad once rolled over one of those like brake things, and we were in a Corolla, and it was like teeter-tottering, and he turned around and in the same tone Brock did said, "No one is to know about this." And it was, and in that moment, I'm like, "Oh, everyone's gonna know about this." So we finally get back onto legal roads.
Yep.
And I'm still like, I want to see my children. I want out of this car. We've been in this, and it smelled like cigarette smoke. It was this nasty little rental car. And I'm like, and Brock's like, you know what though? The people of Georgia are so nice. Like, people were honking to help me. Like, they weren't mad at, like, they were helping me. And right about that time, he cuts off like the 86,000th other car, and they drive by and flip him off like good and long all the way by. And it was right about that time that Brock said to me, like, okay, you can drive.
It was glorious. It was really and what was great is I don't think either one of us said anything. Like, when that happened, like, it spoke for itself. Like, we didn't have to say anything.
No, there was no need to nag at that point. There was no need to rub it in. Like, that was a pinnacle moment of I messed that up.
That happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did tell her daughter. Laura knows.
And now the whole
world knows. So
thanks to you and your pledges. So there you go.
The point is that Brock's going to make a great director. He's just not allowed to drive to and from the set.
No, we'll get a union driver for him
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So 5 more hours. Angel slaps the shift. We get to 4 million. Brock will jog.
He'll jog. Yeah. All right. I don't know where we're supposed to go from here.
I don't either.
That was too much fun. What do you want to do?
Super fan reaction video.
Oh,
super fan react. I guess we have a super fan reaction video. So if we can cue that up, let's take a look.
So my name is Sarah Rose Wasson. I'm a screenwriter and a musician, and I honestly thought I was like one of the only people who really felt like creating films that reach the lost and the unsaved with a message about God that isn't preachy, but that actually will meet them where they're at. So I was so excited to read The Shift because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. It's brilliant. It's edgy. Using this like dystopian future sci-fi kind of Orwellian setting is perfect for right now because we are currently living in a dystopian Orwellian sci-fi reality. It's such a brilliant concept because you could show anybody who isn't a Christian this film, they would get it, they would like it would be interesting to them, and it would plant these seeds of, do you choose the evil or the good in you? Do you seek for a God who's out there even in the midst of the darkness, or do you give in to your selfish desires, which is basically letting Satan control you? I was so blown away by the script. It just read so quickly and so beautifully, and being a screenwriter and having grown up in the entertainment industry as a kid, I'm pretty picky about scripts. Every single page is just like boom, boom, boom. It just flows. And I have no doubt, and I have full confidence that if Brock can write a script that's that tight and that brilliant and that innovative and that edgy and that, it's like paradigm breaking. This is the kind of script that can totally reach across to the lost, to anybody out there in the world right now who doesn't know God, but who's going, what is going on? Like, is there something bigger out there? Like, if there's a God, how can all this be happening? And if there is a God, how do I get to know him? And how do I not get caught up in the evil that's taking our world apart? This is the kind of script that can just reach right into that person's heart and speak to them.
Yeah, you earned that one. I was waiting for J.K. Simmons to show up and do a farmer's ad with us or something, because you can't write that.
Yeah, that was not a true story. No, it was. Unfortunately, it was a very true story. But driving. I love driving. It just doesn't love me, I guess, or something. I don't know. But yeah, no, it was one of those moments where like I did bad, and I just gotta take it. But hey, look, the good news is, according to Sarah, I'm a better script writer than I am
a driver.
So we can all bond on that
by leaps and bounds.
By leaps and bounds, thank goodness. But yeah, what Sarah is talking about there, and that was not the video we were going to show. We'll show that one later. But what Sarah's talking about there is she read the script. She read the whole script for the Shift feature film, because we have actually released it to the public. If you want to read the script, you can go to angel.com/theshift right now, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there it is. And you can read it. Or if you're like, hey, I don't like reading,
like me,
like Orlando, then you could listen to it. We also provided an audio version performed by myself and a couple of friends who do voiceover work on the regular. So it's a pretty nice presentation. Either way you want to go there, but we highly encourage you, because the reason we've done that is because, look, we haven't opened up investment yet, but if we do, we want you to come in confident in what we're doing. And yeah, the short film, I think, gives a pretty good idea of what we can do. We can do more than that with more budget, but the feature film, you can know what it is. You can know the whole story. You can find out right now what happens to Kevin when he walks out that door.
Right.
And so that is, honestly, that is a lot more than any other filmmaker is ever going to give you.
Oh, totally.
No filmmakers ever released, to my knowledge, their script to the public before the film is even made. So this is a unique opportunity. It's a limited time opportunity. It is not going to be on the web forever.
No.
We are going to pull it. I'm not going to tell you when yet. I will soon, but not tonight. So if you want to take advantage of that opportunity, now is the time. Thomas just pledged $500.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thomas.
so much, Thomas. Someone else just pledged $50. Wow,
you.
they're still rolling in. Don't they know the story has already been told? Another person just pledged $500.
I think they're trying to get to the floor so they can see you.
Or $30. There's no other story. And I think that's it for right now. No, another pledge that just came in with $150. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's one of those things. Oh, someone else
20?
just pledged 20. I keep on trying to move on, but they're not letting me. Just pledged $20. Awesome. I love what Sarah has to say about the script and just what she shared with us, especially her perspective as a screenwriter, as someone who grew up in the industry. That's something that we found a lot as we have seen other people in the industry take a read and kind of weigh in on the script, and they do see it as something that is. It's hard for me to talk about this because it's something I wrote. I don't want it to sound like I'm arrogant or my ego's puffed up. It's funny how after all this time it kind of feels like something that's apart from me, because it feels like after so many people read it and are participating in it, it's not just mine anymore. But genuinely, people in the industry feel that the script is exceptional.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to just that, again, we've talked about before. It's that thing that we all in the industry who have a faith background, like, we've been waiting for, and like has always felt like there's got to be something else out there. There's got to be this thing, and it resonated with me. She made the comment of like, I felt like it was going to fall to me. Like I would have to do this because no one's ever going to do this. And I think that kind of is the common theme, the resonating theme. And so and I told you that, I mean, that was my whole thing. Why I came on board is because it was the exact same thing. And like, you're taking that step out, you're being that trailblazer, and it's easy to immediately fall in and get behind that because that's what we all want, but it's hard and it's risky and it's uncomfortable to be that trailblazer. And you did that. You stepped out in faith and you put that forward, and that's what we're all connecting with. Yeah.
Well, I've always had this conflict between the art that I enjoy and the faith that I have. And I have never, I mean, with rare exception, have I been able to find something that appeals to both of those things within me.
Correct.
And I think it's the desire to see things like that led me to create this. Right. I mean, genuinely, I think that's a lot of where it came from. Just being kind of dissatisfied on both sides of it and saying, why can't we why can't we have something that's like what I want to see, but actually is also like aligned with my worldview and aligned with my faith? Well, the only way you make that happen is doing
when you
yourself.
do it. So you got to do it.
So that's what we've done.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah, when she submitted her video to us, she actually submitted a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic. I mean, it's so. It was such a huge blessing for us to see her perspective and to see her enthusiasm over 10 minutes. Now, obviously, we're not going to share that whole video with you, but we do actually have another piece of it to share with you. So this is Sarah, part 2.
The little seeds that are planted all throughout the story are so brilliant. From I don't want to give away spoilers, but from the song "This Little Light of Mine," and I mean, I tear up when I was reading that. Like, I just reread it again this morning, and just how that song, how it shows up in the middle of the story and how it shows up again at the end of the story is so powerful and so beautiful. And it's such a simple, sweet little hymn, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. But it's such an important message. You know, it's like, are you going to let that light shine and reach other people? Or are you going to let all the darkness of the world and all the temptation to give into your own selfishness squelch that light out and just be part of the darkness? And that is the message that people need right now. And this film gets it across so beautifully, the script and the story. Those of us that feel called to create edgy material that speaks to the broken and speaks to the lost by creating a narrative that meets them where they're at, which is not in a happy Hallmark church life, meets them where they're at in their brokenness and in their sin and their fallenness and in their pain, and starts the narrative there and spends a lot of the narrative there so that people who are in that life can go, yeah, this is me. I relate to this. I can understand this. And then little by little, slowly but surely, brings them along with the protagonist out of that life and on a healing journey into a life of walking towards God and finding God and witnessing his promises and his redemption and his fulfillment of everything that he's told us that he'll do if we just ask and believe and receive. Brock and his team and screenwriters and filmmakers like him and like myself, we need people to invest who are fearless risk takers, who are ready to start a whole new wave of faith-based cinema. Even in the midst of so much darkness, God can come through, can create miracles, and I believe will get this film made.
All right. I love that.
Yeah.
It was hard not to share that with everybody last week. Because Sarah does get a little emotional there, and she gets emotional about a part of the feature film script. And I don't think it's a huge spoiler to say, hey, look, there's this part that features this little light of mine. She gets emotional about a part of the script that actually makes me emotional when I go back and I read it, because it is such a simple thing. It's a simple thing. It's a simple song. And the way that we're using it, the way that I'm using it, the way that it's written into the script, she saw exactly what I was trying to do with it. And there's nothing that's more satisfying than that as a creator, to feel seen by people who are enjoying the art that you create. But anyway, that's me. That's not really that important. What I'm experiencing and what it feels like to me, whatever validation I've got going, none of that is important. It really doesn't matter. I don't need that. It's not important. What's important is what she said about how this can reach other people. Yeah. Jane says, love how Sarah loves the shift. She also said, well said, Sarah. And I agree. I think what's important here is what Sarah said about reaching out to the lost and to the broken. That's what we're trying to do with this film. We're trying to make a film that people who maybe have felt disenfranchised or maybe don't feel like faith is necessarily an important thing in their lives, or who are just struggling with the endurance test that trials can be sometimes. Those are the people who are going to connect with this film and see something there.
Absolutely. No. And that was one thing I wanted to piggyback on. She talks a lot about how, meeting people where they are, and she kind of hones in a little bit more on the non-believers, right? But the reality is it also applies to us as believers.
Absolutely.
If we're honest, like we're there all the time too, dealing with frustration and anger and anguish and pain and loss. And it's not, life is not happy-go-lucky. It's not sunshine and rainbows. It's hard. It's hard. And sometimes we need the encouragement. And it's the beautiful thing about cinema, the beautiful thing about storytelling is when we can see the character who's going through the emotional stuff that we're going through, we immediately connect, right? Like we identify. And then when we get to see that character go through the journey, overcome it, become triumphant, positivity comes out of it, we then feel inspired like we can too.
Right.
We're not alone. I feel like I can make it through. And that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. That's the point of the film. And the only way you can get to that place is by making something that speaks some truth. Yeah, we're doing science fiction. Guess what? Truth has been told through fiction since stories were invented. That's the whole point of it. It's what Christ did. It's what we're doing. It's, we're following his example, I believe, in making this film. That's truly what I believe. That's truly where my heart is as a storyteller. Someone just pledged $500. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And another person pledged $1,000. And someone else just pledged $150. Thank you so very much. We're coming to the end here. Please go to angel.com/theshift. Check out the script for yourself if you want to. You don't have to. It is a spoiler. It's the biggest spoiler there is. You're going to ruin the whole movie for yourself. But you can check it out. You can do that. We just got a comment from Jennifer. She says, the script is an easy read. Watching the short film is a great start. It gives you the vibe of what to expect. Read or listen before it's gone.
I agree.
Take it from Jennifer. If that is something that you want to do it now because we are going to pull it. It is not going to
can't stay forever.
No, it can't stay there forever.
I'm nervous with it being there as it is.
Yeah, as a producer, he was very against it initially, putting it out there. But it's not going to be there forever. So if this is something you want to do, you want to check this out. If you're not sure about the shift, if you have friends that you're trying to bring into the shift, I've had this experience where people maybe weren't quite as taken with the short film because they kind of see its shortcomings a bit, which I'll admit they're there. Then they read the script and they have a totally different experience. Jordan Harmon was on it with us earlier, and he talked about that. He talked about how it was really the script that sealed the deal for him.
Right.
That's what gave us the confidence in putting it out there. So if you want to check it out, now is the time. You can't wait. You got to go do it now. Angel.com/theshift. And if you want to express your interest in investing in the shift and you want us to get in touch with you when and if we open up another round, you've got to do that now. You've got 4 hours left and then the opportunity is gone to express your interest. So please do that now. We're gonna sign off now. We're gonna go back, probably gonna refresh our phones constantly for the rest of the night. And
you will for sure.
And
until
4 million.
4 million and Brock will run.
I have not promised that. And then tomorrow we've and after this we've got some decisions to make. So we got one more pledger who's just come in. We're going to shout him out, and then we're going to say goodnight. As we're waiting for that to pop up, I want to remind you we are actually going to be. Excuse me, Mark just pledged for $150.
Thank you.
We are actually going to be joining you again this Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Dallas Jenkins with a special message. I can't talk because I run out of water. Dallas Jenkins is going to be with us for a special message, and it's I'll tell you up front, it's a pre-recorded interview, but he's going to be on there. Yeah. So I think that'll be a really special day, and I hope you'll join us, and I hope you'll tell your friends. This is only going to happen if we spread the word. So please do share and spread the word, and let's get this thing done. If you would like to connect with more Shift fans, you can do that on the Shift Fan Club, fan created, fan run. I drop stuff there once in a while.
Yes, he does.
Big stuff that I don't drop anywhere else. So definitely check that out if you haven't already.
Lots of droppings.
Of droppings, but good droppings, not the stinky kind.
Such a mess.
Why are we ending on this note?
You're the one who kept talking about
you're the one that anyways. No, you said the word. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Brock Heasley, the writer and director of The Shift.
I'm Orlando J. Gomez, producer of The Shift.
I'm Erin.
And that's Erin. There. And
who will not be in the feature film.
Who will not be in the feature film. Thank you. Good night. And we'll see you again on Friday.
See y'all.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money. But I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where the shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So the shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of the shift and the future of the shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side, I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more. And I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
Nothing. That I may be nothing. Tomorrow. I am greater than God. Jesus Christ.
And that's what the shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
Express your interest in backing the shift by clicking on the link today to be among the first to know if the offering launches.